Welcome everybody. My name is Jerry and I'm glad you can join me today. We're going to talk about the trade of the week. I'm going to call this the trade of the week. Now, if you haven't watched my futures series, video series, I'll put a link in the description just below this video. So just go below the video, look at the description. You'll see some links in there for part 1, 2, and 3. And in part 3, I talk about an actual trade that I place and show you how to place the trade. And it's for the E-micro 6E futures contract for June, and that is the Euro USD currency futures. And today I'm going to show you, why did I place that trade? How did I go about placing a trade? But not so much how I went about placing a trade, but why did I place a trade? What is it about that futures contract that I found attractive enough for me to go and place a trade? What are some of the things that I do to help me make a decision about placing a trade? So you're gonna get in this video. I'm a veterans futures trader. You're gonna get an opportunity to see some of the things that I do and some of the techniques and tools that I use to place trades and for the most part, at least sometimes, be profitable. Right? We can't always get the profitability every time, but we try to get as much as we can, more times than not. Okay, so in front of you see a screenshot. This is on the Thinkorswim platform. This is a TD Ameritrade software, and also known as the TOS platform. But before you're going to see this is the US dollar index. Okay, you look up in the upper left-hand corner, you see it says $ and uppercase letters DXY. Now, this particular index, you can't trade this index directly, but it serves as a very good tool or an index, I should say, to keep track of currencies, because a lot of the currencies trade, right, either in opposition to the U.S. dollar, or they might trade with it a little bit, but usually there's some type of correlation going on between the U.S. dollar and other currencies. Now, just to be clear, this is not Forex. This is not FX. What we're talking about here is trading the futures against the currency, okay? Which personally, the futures is a lot more profitable than the Forex for me personally. Okay, and for some of you Forex guys, if this is the first time you've ever watched a video about trading futures, I can tell you right now that the futures trading is a lot more profitable than the Forex trading. Okay, so welcome to this video on futures trading. Okay, so that's the introduction. We're looking at the U.S. dollar, and why am I looking at the U.S. dollar? What's the big deal? I thought we were going to be trading I said we're going to be trading the euro dollar. So why am I looking at the U.S. dollar? So let's look at the next screenshot here. Okay, so we're still looking at the U.S. dollar index. If you notice in the very top of the screen, you see an orange circle. So that's the price. Okay, this is on April 24th, by the way. You'll notice just below the price there is $100, 0.319. And just below that in big blue letters, you'll see April 24th, 2020. That's today, the day that I'm actually showing this video and the day that I took these screenshots. So you'll notice the big blue arrow, April 24th, is pointing to a candlestick, okay? And a little bit below that and to the right of that, you'll see May 1st, 2020, okay? Now, you're going to notice probably about halfway down the screen, you can see these orange numbers on the left side of the screen, starting on the left side of the screen. You got a 1, and then a 2, and then a 3, then a 4. So what is that all about? You'll notice these semicircle arcs and like red arcs. Okay, and the 1, 2, and 3, 4 are right at the bottom of those arcs, right where the two arcs intersect. What's that all about? Well, that's called cycle analysis, okay? There's a lot of different type of analysis out there. There's fundamental analysis. When you're looking at stock, a lot of the stock traders go look at the fundamentals of a stock, a corporation. Like I've said before, that could be Microsoft, that could be ABC News, CBS, Procter & Gamble. Okay, you take your pick, okay? Anyway, those stock traders tend to look at the fundamentals, the financials, and that helps them make a decision about when to buy or sell stock. But in futures trading, it's not a corporation, okay? There is no financials to go look at. It doesn't work like that. What you're talking about is world economies, okay? Because these are commodities and indexes on a world global level, okay? So there's different type of analysis that goes into that. There are economic analysis that go into it, but today we're talking about, probably a lot of you have never heard of this type of analysis, called cycle analysis. So each of those arcs represent a certain cycle. Okay, and what you're going to notice is if you look at number one, the orange number one, you're going to notice that the price of the US dollar index hit a low right there. If you look at the orange number two, you're going to notice again the US dollar hit a low. Right? And then number three is a low. Well, guess what? On May 1st, we're projecting that there's going to be a low in the US dollar, that the price is going to come down between April 24th and May 1st. It's going to come down. How much it comes down, that's a different, that's not necessarily, and we can project that too. There's techniques to project that, but today I'm not going to get into how much we think it's going to come down. We just believe that this is going to come down, and that we believe April 24th is approximately up the peak of the US dollar index for now. It could go a little higher. Okay, this is not exact science, but it could go a little bit higher, but we do believe that we're in the ballpark. Okay? So that's important to understand cycle analysis. You can clearly see the cycles, right? Okay, now if you go down, there's an indicator just below that, and that's a proprietary indicator. I'm not going to reveal the logic behind that indicator, but you'll notice a little green circle right at the peak there, just between the numbers 3 and 4. At the indicator below it, you'll see a green circle, and then there's another indicator below that. That's called the Stochastic Momentum Indicator, which is readily available on the TOS platform. You'll notice I put a green circle there too. Well, it's obvious both of those are looking very peaky, right? They're both looking like they've topped and they're beginning to turn over, right? The one below that's called a market forecast. That's a proprietary indicator that TD Ameritrade put out. Okay, at the bottom one with the green, the yellow, and the kind of that pinky salmon-looking lines. Okay. So these are all indicators that I use to help me in part make decision. Not entirely. There's other things I look at, but okay. So this is a pretty good picture, right? You're getting a pretty good picture here right now of the U.S. dollar index looking like it's kind of near a peak. All right, that's what we believe. Okay, in our cycle analysis and our analysis period. Okay, let's look at the next screenshot. Okay, so now we're looking at the actual futures product, the E-micro Euro USD futures product that we're actually going to make the trade in. Because remember I said earlier, you can't trade the US index, but you can trade other currency futures against it. Okay? So this is the futures product, the M6E, which is the E-micro Euro US dollar future that we're going to trade. Okay? So you can just take a look at that for a moment. Okay, now let's move on to the next screenshot. Now, just like the US dollar index, I went ahead and highlighted some things in here that I believe are really very relevant and very important, and it should help you get a better understanding of how I go about making my trades and what is it about this particular futures product that I find attractive and I want to make a trade in this. So again, starting from the top, you see an orange circle there. It's at $1.08 and change, 1.0821. Is the E-micro Euro US dollar futures price on April 24th, 2020. You'll notice to the right of April 24th, 2020 in blue letters, there's May 11th. And again, there's some cycles that have been defined here. Now, May 11th may not actually be the peak. That's just an approximation or an ideal, if you had an ideal cycle, which we'll get into that in some other future videos, but that would be the middle of the cycle, the next cycle. Okay, but you'll notice that April 24th, 2020, that we believe we're near or at a low point for this particular cycle for this M6E futures product. Now remember, in the U.S. index, we believe the U.S. index was at a peak. Okay. Now come down to the next indicator there, you'll see a little green circle. And the one below that, the Stochastic's momentum indicator, is also a green circle. And then again, once again, you got the market forecast indicator. So if you look at the little green circles I put there, it looks like we're at a bottom, right? Those indicators are suggesting that we've reached a bottom or we're approximately near a bottom. Now, truth be told, this price could go lower, or it could just sit down there for a while and track sideways. Okay, but we believe we're near or at a bottom for this futures product. Okay. Now, you're going to notice a yellow triangle, around the pricing, around those green and red candlesticks. What's up with that yellow triangle? Well, this is, if you've ever studied candlestick patterns, this is what we call a symmetrical triangle. It also can almost be called a descending wedge because it's almost a descending wedge. But for now, we're going to call this a symmetrical triangle. Okay. So symmetrical triangles often have a tendency. And in this case, the tendency is likely for this futures product to break out to the upside. That it's going to break out and bust and go above the top yellow line. So you got a bottom line to the triangle, you got a top line to the triangle. We believe the price is going to go and break above that yellow triangle and start going up. All right. Now, you'll also notice in the middle of that triangle, there's something, if you look very carefully, you can see a -2 LMT with a little X. Well, that's my limit price. I've already placed an order, okay, to sell because I'm long on this M6E. I bought when it was low, and I'm just currently have it at $1.09. So you can all go do the math and look up this. Go, like I said in the description, go back and watch my futures video series parts 1, 2, and 3, and you can get the specifications and all the math behind this particular futures product or any futures product, and you can calculate. And there's also, I'm going to put the spreadsheet. I got a futures spreadsheet in the link, also in the description. You can download that, okay, from Google Drive, and you can calculate the difference between a 1.0821, which is the price circled in orange, and the price where I have my limit at 1.0904. If you look all the way to the right of the screen, you're going to see a price 1.0904. So there's a difference between those two prices. You can go calculate that for yourself if you want to, okay? And depending on how many contracts, do you have in positions you have, which we'll call contracts, what's the quantity of contracts you have or the number of positions you have, right? You can go and calculate the profitability, okay? All right, so this was a very kind of a crash course for those of you out there that don't really do any technical trading. You're not sure how to go, and you're not even sure where to begin, how to determine how to get in and out of positions, when to place orders, how do you know when to get into the, when's a good time to get in? I don't want to make a mistake and get in at the wrong time. Okay, so this is a bit of a crash course, and we're going to do some more and get into in-depth analysis, but you at least should get a good picture of some of the things that I do as a veterans futures trader on how I go about making decisions to get take on positions for the sake of profitability. Okay, so listen, I really hope you enjoyed the video today. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and while you're at it, click that notification bell, and I would really appreciate if you give thumbs up because it really helps out the YouTube channel. And look forward to some more videos coming up real soon. We'll talk to y'all again next time.